I've actually known him long. Hey, see, I told you he could fix it. I'd sit here and stare at the screen and like pound on it like a ape, and it wouldn't work. But that's okay. So yeah, back to caskers. If you guys are looking for something to wet your whiskey whistle, there's also another one that I'll try once I am home, and I'll tell you about that one next week. I'll probably bring that in as well. It's fun to try new things, and especially when they drop bombs like this, which is freaking delicious. Ted, I'm going to leave this here at the shop, so the next time you're here, we can have some. TikTok. Wanted to chat a little bit. We are trying to get our act together from a communicating with everybody who wants to be communicated with, and some of you that don't, too bad. You're going to get communicated to anyway. I'm going to spit that out. Give me a couple more chances. I'll get it right. Our newsletter, what I would ask is that you go to our homepage and scroll to the bottom and sign up to be a Dundon Insider. Some of the things that are in our most recent newsletter are Ted has started a driver's corner where we are going to discuss the finer points of driving fast around the racetrack. This, I won't give it away, but this one is, I do it. Most of the amateur drivers that I know do it. And that is not using the brakes correctly. So go ahead and log in, sign up, take a look, take a listen. We also have some other goodies on there. We've got a Dundon Community Spotlight, folks that are out in the world doing cool stuff. So we have them on there. A couple other things. We're going to start trying to get that out at least once every 6 weeks. We're going to try real hard for once a month. Some of you may have noticed some emails coming from us. If you have a draft invoice or have requested a quote or these kinds of things, you may have seen what appears to be automatic emails. And you are correct. We are sending you and chasing you so that we can multiply our efforts. And we can stay in the top of your inbox. We may experiment with texting some of you if you all would like to be texted to instead of emailed. So administrative stuff. Let's get on and see. We've got 11 of y'all on board here and 7 of y'all on board here on YouTube. So let's chat about the used parts, pre-owned parts. We got some pre-owned parts. I keep moving the YouTube camera. Sorry about that, y'all. I don't mean to be distracting with it, but it's just kind of in the way. It's in the way of my whiskey glass, so I got to keep moving the computer that way. So we've got a couple things for you this week. We have some 991 street headers that can be paired with a loud muffler or a quiet muffler. We have a pair of 991 race headers as well. So any of you who are interested, please PM us on Instagram or shoot us an email from YouTube, and we can get you an idea of where those are. It's still first come, first serve. So the first guy that throws dollars at us will get the nod, so to speak. Also wanted to talk about, I don't know if you guys can see these. I'll hold these up for YouTube guys here first. So these are a set of our 991.1 Cup dive planes. And we've got some blue tape on here for little tiny pinholes in the matte finish that we have identified. And we weren't super comfortable sending these out. And, you know, we ask a lot of the suppliers, especially for the beauty parts. This is a race car part, so I'll show it to you guys as well. This is a race car part. Works great as a single dive plane for the front of your 991.1 GT3 or GT3 RS, May fit others. It might fit a Carrera with an aero package. I'm not sure. Reason I wanted to bring it up is to send this back for these few little marks in it. Here's the other one. I'll show this one to our friends on YouTube first because I can get a good reflection in it. You can tell that the finish is actually really, really nice. And from seriously more than like 2 feet away from the dive plane, if I took this blue tape off of here, you would never see these little pinpoints, where there's a little bit of where there's a weave distortion, a slight weave distortion, and the matte clear kind of fills it a little bit. So I want to offer these up as well. Anybody who's seen them, these are 991.1 single dive planes. We retail them for $695. We're going to start trying to take pictures of these, get them on the website as not quite scratch and dent, but things that we don't feel are, quote, bad enough to send back to the manufacturer, but not quite comfortable just sending them out as, quote, perfect. So we can take $100 off or something along those lines, sell them for $595 for those guys that are interested of actually going fast, not going fast at Cars and Coffee. So for those of you that are interested, PM us. We'll talk about this as well. Couple other things we're going to institute, which I think will help because there's a number of you that have asked for when are your used parts going to be available? When can we get used parts? How will we know that there are used parts? Ted and I had a conversation today earlier. We're going to add some things on our contact us form on the website that essentially says, are you looking for used parts? What used parts are you looking for? In our CRM, we'll see we should see the sorry, got distracted. Ted's obviously Eric is signed in here on this computer, and it's flashing a conversation between Ted and Eric, so making sure they're not talking to me. They're not talking to me, so I'll move on. Then we'll be able to keep track of who wants what, and we can get you an early alert if you sign up for those used parts. So, yeah, no worries. No worries, brother. I won't be able to share it with YouTube because I have not figured out yet how to get videos from my phone to show y'all on YouTube at the same time that I'm doing it on Instagram. So let me show you guys on Instagram a few fun things. Let me see if I can get this working here. No, don't want that. There it is. Up there. All right, so first things first, this is kind of fun. And I'll try and be quiet during it. We got the Inconel prototype lightweight lifetime muffler. That's a mouthful. On the Lab Rat, and I will drive it around, but we did get some video of it. So I'll let this play a couple times for you guys. So this is street headers into a loud Inconel lightweight muffler. It's definitely higher pitched. To my ear inside, it doesn't have the low growl or the lower tones that our lifetime muffler has, which is to be expected. Inconel's a tighter metal. It's a denser metal. It's thinner than our lifetime muffler. So my job now is to go try and break this. We're going to stick one on my 997 as well. And I'll stop this now. Anybody who wants to see this, I'll put this up here in a day or two. I wanted to stop sharing. There we go. Perfect. They changed that. We'll get some more video of this as we get the Lab Rat back on track. I am actually waiting for my wing to come home from a friend of ours on the East Coast. What could possibly be going on with me taking the wing off the car and sending it across the country? Crazy. Y'all will find out soon. Let's take a couple other looks here. We've got some installs going on. Our friend Alan Irwin at Thermal is installing a full aero package, a full suspension package, and a full power package on 991.2 GT3 RS. So that should be a super fun ride as they get that thing all the way dialed in. So let me see if I can scroll a couple other pictures here for you. So that's the splitter. That's him putting the splitter together. And the cool thing is he looked at the instructions and he got it all done. No questions. Got it all dialed in, which is phenomenal. Super happy about that. Let's see those pictures. What else we got here? Yeah, there's another kind of side shot. So I can talk about this here for a second. So this diffuser is made of what's called polyweave. I know, Jimmy. We actually talked to Varus about your splitter project for your GT2 RS, and we all agree that the 2RS has a better stock splitter than the 3RS does. So that's why when you just use the wing, you're actually not doing wheelies, which is nice. Can it be better? Absolutely, and we're looking at ways to do that. So the two what look like brake cooling ducts, as somebody called them on Facebook, are actually diffusers. And the way a diffuser works is, if you know a little bit about the ideal gas law or you remember it, I can recite it for you. It's PV equals nRT, where P is pressure, V is volume, N is the molar mass, R is the gas constant, and T is the temperature. Since there is a relationship between pressure and volume, if you make a gas go through what is a venturi, for nRT to remain constant, if the temperature is constant, that means that the pressure and volume have to have an inverse relationship. And volume is another way to term mass flow if we're looking at how the pressure or volume are changing per unit time, meaning a flowing column of air will have a velocity, it'll have a certain mass that is moving, and a cubic foot per minute, for example, a flow rate. That's a horrible metric, but close enough. And what will happen is, if we ask the gas to speed up by going through a smaller chamber, as you can see that this diffuser starts large, and it gets smaller. So we're going to ask the air to speed up through it. By asking it to speed up, it will lose pressure. It will have to consume some of the energy from the pressure to allow it to speed up. That's the relationship PV equals nRT. It's more complicated than that, but it's close enough for hand waving. So by doing that, we reduce the pressure underneath the car, which is what we want. We want to make a low pressure zone underneath the car. That enhances how the splitter works. It also allows the air a way to be channeled, and it actually makes the leading edge of the splitter more efficient. That's why we don't have to stick the splitter 4 inches out from the car to get the heavy topside air pressure to sit down on it from the top. We can actually kind of evacuate the underside of the splitter and create more low pressure underneath. There are a lot of corollaries between naturally aspirated tuning and what we do inside an engine to what we work on with Varus on the outside of the car. The physics are all the same. So we're trying to manipulate the pressure waves and the pressure. And that actually brings me to the next thing I'm going to show you guys live. which is super exciting. Manipulating pressure waves in both around the car, inside the car, inside the engine, not so much inside the car, but inside the engine. We've got the first production parts. I don't know if you guys can see this. 997 GT3 intake manifold. Woo-hoo! This has been a lot of work for the entire team. This is the lower. You guys can see where the fuel injectors go. You can see how all this mates up nicely directly to the port. I will show it to my YouTube friends. You guys can, the lighting's kind of shit right here, but that's all right. You can kind of see it. There you go. So this is the lower. This is the part that mates on the head. Then this comes in here. The reason we did this as separate pieces is so that you can install it without taking the engine out. Now, you can still take the engine out and install it if you want. And we have a number of shops that's kind of what their druthers are going to be, is to what are druthers anyway? I say this often. I don't know what a druther is, so I'll have to look that up. You can do it with the engine in, do it with the engine out. Dealer's choice in that regard. So we're super excited with that. Headers are finishing for the 997s. So those of you who have orders in, there is a light at the end of the tunnel, and it is not another COVID freaking driven train about to run us over and stomp on our fun. So excited to get that done, which will be finishing up here. I'd say first parts middle April isn't unreasonable. Hey, thank you, Tosh Sport. See, these other college degrees besides engineering have lots of value, because, you know, the engineer just goes, ugh, English language. It's used to communicate with other people to then ask them to do more math. That's the only use of the English language. And then there are other folks who did not take an engineering degree that understands that there's more to life than the numbers of how the world might be modeled with mathematics, which is good. Then there are things like what a druther means. Cheers. Or maybe he looked it up on Google. I don't know. Let's see what else. So 997 parts we talked about. Those are coming. We talked about the Inconel muffler. We talked about used parts. We talked about I didn't show you the wing picture that Alan put in. Alan was very kind. He put a post up on Facebook saying that these are some of the best engineered parts that he's put on a car. Everything fit perfect. The instructions were great. And I want to have everybody hear that this was a collaborative effort. Dundon did not do this alone. This was with Veris. The wing took a freaking dog year for us to be able to build and get correct and make sure that we were happy with it. But we're super happy with it and the performance of it. Hey, you know, as an engineer, I take offense that you're offensed by another engineer that sucks at English, that says you suck at English. So, right? Did you get it? Huh? Be not offended. It's a social media program. If you take offense, off you go. Besides, these are all the opinions of management, and we fully endorse everything that this joker that's on the microphone says. What else? Got totally distracted by that. Wing, pretty wing, big wing. We are excited to finally start to see some folks out there in the world get this on their cars, start to experience the difference with it. We got something special planned here. It's gonna kind of some practice runs the end of next week, and then for real middle April. So that should be fun. Like Jimmy went out, and even with a shock not operating completely correct because one of the adjusters was stuck, he's a second faster with the wing than the national time trial record at NCM, which is killer, right? I think it's only going to go up from there. Yeah. Let's see. What other fun pictures do I have in here for y'all this week? Choose a different asset. We got all those. Yeah. So that's another one on the wing. You guys have started to see this pretty regularly. We are trying to ramp production on these. So those of you that have an order in that has not shipped yet, spoke with Varus today. The carbon guys who are building the wings are experiencing some more COVID issues. They're running at about half capacity. And I was like, man, these fellas have a tough time with COVID because it's been a couple times they've been nailed by it. So Eric and I at Varus are working the issue, trying to get this resolved, because I have a funny feeling that when I'll show you this picture, let me see if I can get to it. When this bad mamma jamma gets released, this is our cup kit. Our friends at Autometrics are trialing this. This is the V2X wing with special uprights for the cup cars. This is a monster. This does not have the end plates on it. This is likely too much wing without a significant splitter. And I will show you the splitter that is being worked on. It is, let me scroll to it. Give me a sec. There you go. So that is the splitter. The joke that Corey has from Autometrics is the car may only go 130 miles an hour in a straight line, but it'll do 120 miles an hour everywhere else. So he's excited to drive it. We don't have test data back on it yet. We expect the V1X at 11, 12 degrees is likely going to be a good fit, similar to where we run the RS. That said, the V2X doesn't have dramatically more drag. It just has more downforce because the second element acts like a big gurney flap, right? So you're really trying to get the air to really push up. And as it's pushing up, there's a component that extra mass of air that is now being pushed up this way pushes the rear of the car down. There's also Bernoulli's equation and blah, 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 a bunch of other crap going on. But that's exciting. So we're expecting a fair uptick in wings and splitters to be needed out in the world. Let me get you some more. Oh, I made Korean egg battered whitefish known as Dundon. And any of our native Korean speakers, I butcher Korean like I butcher English, so I don't want to hear about it. And that's what I'm having for dinner tonight, and I'm already hungry for it. So there you go. It's freaking delicious. I ate so much of it last night. I almost got sick because it was so good. Let's see what else we got. I wanted to do a little bit of a vendor spotlight, or a couple guy spotlight. I wanted to talk about our friend Renology. He went out and he bought himself a GT2. Yeah, I did make a Sosco with it. I'll talk about that in a sec, Mike. So you guys may know Renology. He's an early adopter of everything Dundon, and we love him for that. He has the GT3 RS that goes around Coda. He has a crack pipe. He has our full aero package. He has our full suspension package. And Renology is generally a lover of things mechanical. You should see some of the watches he has. Freaking phenomenal. They're mechanical art is the best. I don't know the name of he may tell us on here, the name of the maker, but he's got a clock. I think it's like a desktop clock. Freaking crazy. Fantastic. So he's got an Ink and Hell system. We sold another Ink and Hell system to another set of folks. And very cool seeing this coming out. We are working as a part of the GT2 Aero to take advantage of the hole that is left with using this exhaust by putting a massive active diffuser in the car, which will be super fun. And make it go faster. Because, a GT2 RS definitely needs to go faster. There's nothing about a GT2 RS that, should be, quote, slow. Just a quick update. Also wanted to let you guys know, anyone who's local, either over here on YouTube. Fantastic, Omar. Over here on YouTube land. We're having a little Cars and Coffee get together at Jacob Cohen's new shop called Spec German here in Gig Harbor. You can see we got a RS here in the foreground. If you look close, you can see the pumpkin way in the background. So she's over there getting some new dampers, some MCS 4-ways. We're going to try and get her ready for a track day on April 2nd. I don't know if we're going to make it. You are local enough, Perfect Reflections. Good grief. What are you, Auburn? It's like exactly 25 minutes to get to Gig Harbor. But I understand. Let's see. We will be there tomorrow morning between 8 and 10. So we'll go from there. What other goodness happened this week that we can discuss? Oh, for those of you waiting for a muffler for the 718 GT4, Charles made fantastic progress on something to keep the car quieter. Also make it sound better. But we're really trying to focus on getting as large a volume as we can fit back there, keep the diffuser, all that good stuff. And find ways to scavenge sound to keep that rowdy 4-liter in the 718 from being super noisy. And he's we'll probably send it off for preliminary parts quote early, probably middle next week. Charles is taking a little vacation. He's going to Palm Springs. Good for him. So we will wait to see that next week. This is the one I wanted to talk about. So we'll let this play. Those aren't downshifts. Those are just revs. This is our friend Maxime and company. I'll turn this off for a second. So that's Maxime at Briege Motorsports in France. That is his 991.2 Cup car, and Maxime's fantastic. He is like off the charts. Just dives in. Right, he got race headers, loud muffler, and intake kit for his 991.2 Cup, and he confirmed what we've seen a couple of times: 40 wheel horsepower gains, no tune, and he's super excited. He did the same thing on his 991.1 Cup, which is. Those of you that know, the 991.1 Cup is a bit of a mutt. It has a Metzger engine from a 997 and has the chassis components of a 991 Cup. So he also took our intake kit and installed it on what's known as the 991.3 GT3 RS. This is the late production GT3 RSs in Europe that had to have particulate filters. They also have individual throttle bodies, just like the Speedster. And even Charles said when he did it here on the Speedster, fitting that is a bitch. There's a lot of components in the way to get that whole intake system in there. And he did it. And he didn't make a phone call, and he got it in the car, and it's super happy, which is freaking killer. So we can't ask any more from our dealers to do things that even we are kind of, don't really want to, but he knocked it out. So good on you, Maxime. That's freaking killer. Super happy about that. Also wanted to give a big shout out to my man, Seth Thomas. He installed his own 93 millimeter plenum in his garage and got it all done. And the car is super happy, no errors, which typically guys that install their center plenum and they got to drop the engine, it gets a little hairy, a little scary, lots of phone calls, oh, freak out, what do I do? We had not sent him new seals because we started doing that early this year. And he had purchased the intake kit, I think, October, November last year, something like that. So we got him some new seals, and he got everything in, and the car's dialed, and good for Seth. I mean, that's one of the few. I don't know that I would have tackled that in my garage at home. He also installed a splitter and a wing, and he's just a rock star. And he's going to drive the car fast, which, I mean, holy shit. Ted, we got to up our game, bro. Let's see, what else do I have for y'all this week? Ted, am I missing anything? We talked about Dundon, most important part. We talked about delicious Kentucky bourbon whiskey from Kentucky Al. We talked about used parts. Let's see, what else do I have on here? Let's talk about this here real quick. So those of you who are international, let's put this picture up, and have a 718 GT4, our 718 headers there is no place for these little sensor doodads and pressure taps. We are sending a prototype setup to our friends. I'll talk about FD and E30 here in a second. We sent a prototype setup of catalysts to our customer, Jeffrey Lai in Hong Kong, who sent me these pictures. And he is going to install them, put all the sensors in there, and see if we can make the car happy. We have a sneaking suspicion the physics is on our side to make this work, but you always got to test it. And since we don't have a car here, we have to rely on the favor of some of our customers to get that done. So thank you, Jeffrey, for that. Also, our friends at Porsche in the UK are working on this. So we will wait patiently for all of them to get back to us and let us know what's going down. Also want to talk about, we had a, how should I say this? We had a very overzealous customer in Southern California that thought that playing some of our dealers against one another and telling them that he was getting a 20% discount on parts would somehow work out. This was last weekend on the Whiskey Friday that I missed. And you know, I one of our dealers wrote me and was like, hey, somebody else is giving this guy a 20% discount. I'm like, well, if they are, that's against the rules. They're not supposed to do that. And if they get caught, they won't be a dealer anymore. Well, got all the dealers on the phone, talked to them. Come to find out that none of them had, that the customer was playing them. And then the story changed. And then it was a close personal friend of one of the founders of Dundon was doing it. So I asked Charles. Charles didn't do it. Charles doesn't know this guy. And I don't know this guy. So that means he was lying. And that's shitty to get caught in a lie. And if you really want a discount or you don't think that you want to spend that much money, then wait until you have that much money. Don't spin a yarn. It's not worth it. See what else we got in here for anybody. Here's one from Mr. Seth Thomas. He installed his dive planes. Tout sweet. Very nice, as Maxime would say. I don't know if he says that or not, but I'm going to assume he does. Choose one more. Different couple bits of assets here. See what else I got. Anybody have any questions for me this week? See what else I got here. Anything else? Keep scrolling up. Scroll. Go. Oh. Well, I'll show this to you guys briefly, but I'm going to take it down real quick. So this is the 718 GT4 kit. We are trying to make this approachable for everybody. We are trying to make this so that it is not a gazillion dollars to add downforce. It is a splitter. It is a bolt-on wing using the existing uprights or the uprights of your choice. One of the things that's going to be a little controversial is when I show y'all the data that your taller uprights don't add downforce. What? What's going on? That man needs to get hit with a bat. He's talking crazy. It's really like, it's more like grabbing a longer ratchet handle. So if you only have a certain amount of force in your arm, and when you need to put force on a bolt, you grab a longer lever. Longer or taller wing uprights create a bit of a longer lever. The data we did, I think Paul made them 3 or 4 inches taller, and the downforce didn't change. The balance changed a little bit. So I wanted him to actually run this in CFD so that we all kind of generally knew this because it's already in clean air. So moving it higher doesn't really do anything. But it looks better. So if you buy it because it looks better, then cheers to you. If you bought it because you think it's going to add downforce, then we can help you with that. But it's probably not going to be those parts. It'll be other parts. So shh. Don't tell anybody who's making uprights that I said anything. Just keep that to yourself. And don't look over my shoulder and read off any of these numbers, damn it. I don't want to hear about it later. So close that and stop sharing. All right, let me scroll back through and see if there's any questions that I missed. Don't have my passport. I'm not local enough. Yeah. Sauce. Sauce for the Dundon. Yeah. So sauce for Dundon is pretty straightforward. It's essentially soy sauce, vinegar, and a little sesame oil. You can make it fancier. You could put some chili paste in there if you want it spicy. Yada yada yada. I'm gonna have a cooking show. Who knew? White guy cooks Korean, which is fine. Let's see what else. Anybody else have anything in here? Any vids of cracked pretzel with race headers? No. So don't have that with race headers yet. Somebody will. I know somebody will. So we're going to rely on the Dundon community to help us with that. We've got one cracked pretzel in the wild down at EVS in Texas. Ted is getting that installed. I think he was working on that. Was that yesterday or day before? Something like that. I think we got another one. It'll get gobbled up probably early next week, and we'll head to Phoenix. So we'll start to see a couple more of them out in the wild. Once more of them out in the wild, we'll see some more videos, which will be a whole lot of fun. And a whole lot of fun for them and a whole lot of fun for me because I don't have to drive the car. It's loud with the cracked pretzel on it. Super loud. Let's see. Anybody else have questions? All right. We should start to see some more wing data coming in here quickly. We got guys in Europe that are heading to track days as long as they're actually open for track days and they don't shut the whole continent down. Should start to see some more goodness. Does Justin Wilson really want to be in our live video? So he's asking to be in our video. I am happy to invite Mr. Justin Wilson, but I think he may have hit the wrong button. We'll see if Justin replies. Justin has been talking to us about getting a set of street headers for her 718 GT4, which is gorgeous in Miami blue. I think it's Miami, right? I'm Jamie Bopp, and welcome to Hell's Kitchen. Yeah, I like it. Dundon's Kitchen, something like that. We can make that work. As long as it's something easy and Korean, I can cook it. Well, I can cook a steak. I cook lots of stuff. I pretty much am the cook in our house. So, oh, I can even cook beef Wellington, and Eric's had it. It's delicious. And Yorkshire pudding. I'm so multicultural. It's crazy. Super crazy. Looks like Ted needs to get a phone call from Anonymous calling product sales. Maybe. Our video is paused briefly. Please, we're having technical difficulties. Hey, there we go. Thank you, Ted. 5:15. Somebody's got a late call. Maybe they want some used parts. Woohoo! We're also considering, for those of you that are listening, we see often, not often, but occasionally, folks sell used parts and they don't, let me back up. There's an interaction with some of our older 991 street headers, and they don't work with the newest 991.2 GT3s without throwing a check engine light. And this was part of what we had to do to figure out to make things work on the 991.2 GT3. One of the things is that it has to have a gasketed V-band. So if you have a newer GT3 and you are looking to buy a used part, ask them to show you pictures of the gasketed V-band. If it doesn't have it, don't buy it. We are considering becoming a trading house, if you will, or reconditioner of Dundon's older parts and reselling them as we do currently, but on a more official scale. So if you all have some comments about that, if you think it's a good idea or you don't, please shoot us a PM, leave a comment here when this video gets posted. We'd love to hear your opinions. The car mod kitchen, Porsche's cooking, something like that. Eric's throwing over here on YouTube side. We'll think of something more creative for the Jamie Bopp Hell's Kitchen. Who am I going to yell at and throw pans at and stuff? I'm going to do that with you? We'll make you cook. How about that? I'm sure Mary would like that. We'll make Eric cook, and then I'll throw things at him when it's horrible. Sounds like a fun show. I think people would like that. No questions for me, huh? Nothing exciting going on this week? Oh, quick updates on the FD and the E30. So the FD is being ignored up in, it's no longer in the shop. It is up at a different shop, and they're busy with other projects. So I don't know when it's going to show up, if ever. Anthony and I are going to talk about that when he is back next week, because I am growing incredibly impatient to be able to drive this car that I've owned for 3 years and never driven. E30 is with AR Motors. I just sent them a not insignificant amount of money, and I know they're at the track this week, but I'm sure that Martin has a plan and is going to get it cracking. So you can sense some angst in my voice about these projects. There's angst. They need to be done. I would like to drive them this year. So, are you guys coming down to SoCal at some point? We would love to. We would. Oh, I got to, and Eric is telling me that I need to throw things at Chris, because Chris is younger than Eric, so therefore crap rolls downhill and Chris gets to catch it. There you go. You have another option possibly on the FD. Why don't you hit me with a text message on that, brother? I got a couple others here. I'll answer those questions after Justin Wilson. So, and the 997. The 997 is well underway. Mr. Jacob has the MCS 4-ways going in. We've got my wing uprights powder coated. The Grand Am will not fly off the deck lid wing uprights for the giant wing that I have for it. So we're actively pursuing that. I am hoping to get it on track for next Friday. I'm not sure if it's going to happen because we got a bunch of other things. Business comes before pleasure, and finishing this project, the 997 intake runner project with Charles Time, is more important than Jamie's track car getting on the track. That's kind of the cobbler's kid has no shoes story. We are considering sending Ted and Eric down south on a California road trip. So we would love to send the boys down with the lab rat and a camera and go to some track days, go to some events. I would like to honestly get both of them vaccinated before I send them out on business trips. That's just me. I won't force them to get a vaccine if they don't want it. But if they have some trepidation, see, big word for all you engineers counting. The engineer also used big word, trepidation. That's got multiple syllables. Write them down. I won't force them to go. Not until, they at least have a chance, because, the virus it's fake news, and anybody who gets a vaccine is going to get impregnated by a device that listening and spilling it all to Bill Gates so that you can become a zombie farmer for him. Look it up. He's got the most farmland. Sorry, that was completely unnecessary and unwarranted. How far along are you guys with the 991 intake runner development? That is up next. We have, because of what we've done with the 997 intake runners, we have a very good idea of what to do with the 991 intake runners. We actually have a car running around with one of our prototypes. Yeah, right. I hear you. And the car runs great. It falls on its face at like 8,200 RPM. So we want to make sure that it runs all the way to 9,000. And with the 997 work that we've done, we figured out how to do that. So I think that's Mr. Shabaj is SS, if I had to guess, on YouTube. Thank you for your order, by the way. Your parts should be there soon. Let's see who else. Let me switch back to Instagram. Okay. Can you make some pipes for the 964? So here's the deal with the 964. We have been asked for this a couple times. 964 does not have a lot of power density. It also has 2 valves per cylinder. So not very much power density, and 2 valves per cylinder means that if we increase the power by, let's say, 12%, we do something crazy, we're only going to get like 18 horsepower. So is that enough to sell it? Maybe. I don't know. They'll sound good. They won't be any cheaper than our water-cooled stuff, and probably they'll be more expensive. Will the market support that? I don't know. It honestly becomes a marketing decision. So can we? Absolutely, we can. Will we? At some point, we've been asked by a few of our local guys that have 964s if we'll build an exhaust for them. If you didn't need a heater box, then it would be way more simple, because we could put a GT3RS muffler on it, do a center exit right underneath the bumper. It would be badass, be super fun, blah, 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 but not sure that the market will accept it. If you guys think it will, please correct me and let me know, because I'm happy to I'm happy to build more parts for y'all. Do you have a 992 GT3 inbound? According to the dealer that I am talking to in Chicago, yes. No funds have transacted. I am told that I have an allocation. I need to pay the ADM, and it will be a early dropping car. I kind of wanted PTS pastel orange for 100 reasons. You know, that's how we do over here. But in lieu of getting pastel orange, I'm fine with just getting a car so that we can start the development. That double A-arm suspension is very interesting. Figuring out how well the rear wing is doing and then swapping Veris foil in for it would be very interesting, giving it maybe a nice splitter. There's already a lot of things that I can see that the GT3 would like to do. We already know what we're doing with the ITBs. We just need to do it. There's a pile of things that car needs that we're ready for. I just need to get me one. And I have mixed emotions with letting go of the lab rat because it's the first lab rat. And I want it. I kind of want it to stick around. I just don't have infinite money to be able to get the 992 GT3, finish up development on the 718 GT4, and keep the lab rat. So we'll see how that goes. Maybe somebody local will want to purchase it, Chris Walters, and keep it close so that I can see it every now and then. Maybe Chris is watching. I'm not sure. You can let Chris know, if you know Chris, that maybe he wants to buy the lab rat from me. Maybe. He said he was looking for something to beat on. Anybody else got anything? We've been talking for an hour. Wanted to try and make up for last week where I didn't say nothing about missing it, and I apologize for that. Hopefully this has been informative. We're going to try and continue to do this every week, continue to make it worthwhile. PM me or Ted or Dundon Motorsports, or send us an email at sales@dundonmotorsports.com about but wait, there is one more question that is pertinent. Do you have any parts for the 991.1 CS? Why, yes, we do. And thank you for that lead in, Larry. I don't know that I could have set that up any better. Our headers and exhaust section will be done end of next week-ish. We are going to be needing a car to put them on here locally. So if you know of somebody, please let them know we're in need of a car. We want to do the full package, which is headers, exhaust, intake runners, Cobb tune. We're expecting power gains in line with our 981 3.8 liter D4 kit, probably 60, 70 wheel horsepower at Redline. But we need to get it on the dyno, and we need to get it tested. So, yes, we do have those parts. They are coming. We'll tell you more about them once we have them, and we'll go from there. So, all right, y'all, it's 5:30. It's time for some Dante Jong and maybe that other whiskey once I get home. So, stay in touch. Join our newsletter. Go to the bottom of our website and join up. And I'll chat with y'all next week. We should have some more fun, exciting updates, including how jury duty went for me, which is what's going on with next week. I don't think they're going to let me do this from the courthouse. So hopefully I either get out of it or get done. Talk to you guys later. Have a good weekend. Talk to you soon. See ya.